This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Healy Wilkes. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tropical storm Hermine brought the rain today and then some. Homes evacuated, roads flooded, and some schools set to close. For the latest on Hermine's impact, let's head right over to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Haley. Tonight, the little storm that couldn't become a tropical storm may not be a tropical storm for long, as we think it will turn into a hurricane by tomorrow afternoon. That's right, a hurricane. This system is becoming better organized, and computer forecast models are suggesting now that this will become a Category 1 hurricane before it makes landfall into the panhandle of Florida near the Big Bend area right now. It's still some big clusters of storms developing, but notice the motion and movement toward the northeast with some of this energy. We had our first big round earlier today, obviously dumping historic amounts of rainfall in just a short period of time, causing all sorts of flooding. Winds now up to 60 miles an hour. And what that means for us here is that we're going to see bigger wave action, too, along the west coast of Florida. So a high surf advisory is in effect. It's moving pretty quickly now. That's a good sign. North-northeast at 10. The pressure is at 998 millibars, which is falling. Here's the forecast path and track. It really hasn't changed much. It's shifted a little bit to the left or toward the west. And you can see as we move through time tomorrow, by Thursday, 8 o'clock, it should be a Category 1 hurricane with winds over 75 miles an hour, making landfall near or slightly to the right of Apalachicola, then moving right on in through possibly Tallahassee and off toward the northeast. But this is the cone of uncertainty where the center is going to be. We don't want to focus too much on that. We're not in that cone, but we're on the right side of the hurricane or tropical storm, which could be a hurricane soon. In fact, hurricane warnings are up now for parts of Florida. You can see that hurricane warning just to the southeast of Panama, all the way down to the Big Bend area of Florida, just to the west-southwest of Gainesville. Now, that's a hurricane warning. And then we have a tropical storm warning in effect surrounding that all the way through Tallahassee, and then a tropical storm watch to the east of that, which includes Jacksonville. Now, as far as the rainfall goes, this line just kind of popped up within the last hour or so, so we're still getting some pretty heavy rainfall, especially down in South Sarasota and into Charlotte counties right now. The rain into Bradenton, the rainfall rates there have been somewhat lower than they have been, but still any additional rainfall that occurs overnight will cause additional flooding problems. And that's the big thing that we're in for, is the possibility of some heavy flood. A flood watch remains in effect for Manatee and Sarasota counties until Friday, 8 o'clock. That's in effect until Friday at 8 o'clock. And then we have a high surf advisory on top of that. That's in effect through Thursday, and more than likely will be continued. Rainfall totals historic at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport. The greatest rainfall ever recorded in a single day in the month of August, over 7 inches. In fact, that's at 7.5 inches right now. We'll talk more about the rainfall totals. We could see an additional 4 to 6 inches of rain throughout the day on Thursday. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Haley?
Thank you, Bob. And scenes like this have prompted Governor Scott to include Manatee and Sarasota counties among the 9 new counties under a state of emergency. He made this declaration for 42 counties in North and Central Florida earlier today. Declaration means 8,000 members of the Florida National Guard are ready to be deployed whenever necessary. The governor says he will be in Tallahassee tomorrow getting briefed at the state's Emergency Operations Center, and he will then provide an update around 11:15 a.m. And we do want to remind you that all Manatee County District schools will be closed tomorrow because of Tropical Storm Hermine. They do plan to be open as of now on Friday, but district officials say they're going to monitor the storm and update the community if they decide to make any changes to that plan. As of right now, schools in both Sarasota and Charlotte County will be open. USF Sarasota Manatee, however, has announced that it will be closed. We've received a lot of calls and messages tonight from parents with students in the Sarasota County School District. We do understand the frustration over the uncertainty. When we do get an update about the school, as of now, like we said, it is still open. We will be sure to pass it along to you either on air or via social media. And for a list of closures across the Suncoast due to Hermine, you can go to our website, mysuncoast.com, and of course also check our social media pages for the latest updates on the storm. Some residents near 40th and Coconut Streets were left with their homes tonight. 2 adjacent creeks began to rise. ABC7's Ray Collins is live in northern Sarasota with the latest on their status. Ray?
Haley, the water indeed rose fast in their backyards, and emergency responders didn't waste time moving in.
I looked out the back window and my backyard was flooded.
This woman, who didn't want to tell her name, won't soon forget this storm. She says she saw floodwaters heading toward her lanai.
And the water was 3 feet from the door.
But 10 minutes later, a knock at the door. Emergency responders, aware of 2 rising creeks behind her house near 40th and Coconut, rescued several residents. A mile away, the Red Cross arrived at the Robert L. Taylor Community Complex, as well as City Manager Tom Barwin, who says the city is in a state of active engagement.
We have an assessment team out in the field. They're looking at several blocks in the north end of Sarasota, generally around the area of Coconut and 40th Street, where we have a couple of creeks that run in that vicinity that are overflowing.
Barwin says up to a dozen families chose to evacuate their homes in this area. Only one took temporary refuge at the complex with her dog. Now, make no mistake, Barwin says they'll keep a close eye on the situation because that story there might not be over yet. Haley, back to you in the studio.
And Ray, how were the roads while you were out driving reporting tonight?
You know, it's really hit and miss. You think you're fine for a while, and then suddenly you're in a foot of water. I was driving down Orange near 12th about an hour ago, and suddenly I'm in water. Then the sign says road underwater, so sometimes the signs aren't in the best position. Earlier tonight, up at 14th Street West, which is US 41 in Bradenton, at 53rd, very deep, very treacherous. For the first time ever while driving, I thought my car was going to be floating for a little while. Luckily, it didn't, but one of the toughest spots today was indeed 14th Street West at 53rd in Manatee County.
All right, thank you, Ray. We are glad that you are safe tonight. Well, an extraordinary scene at the Noso South Village community on 8th Street Court East in Bradenton this evening as well. You can see how inundated this area was by floodwaters. Residents trying to carefully wade through the water while cars made their way down the road slowly.
The lady out on the street from me said she lived out here for 16 years, and this is the worst it's been in 16 years. Stay inside the house. Don't move your cars. As you can see, the car down there tried moving and stalled out.
And in this video sent to us from a viewer near the Whitfield area, north of the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport, flooding there, getting to the point of water making its way into her home. And then check out this scene on roadways in Bradenton earlier today. 2 in particular that saw pretty significant flooding. El Conquistador Parkway and then, as Ray mentioned, 14th Street West. Roads were practically turned into swimming pools for the cars driving through them. We do not recommend doing this. This video serves as an important reminder. Turn around, don't drown. Emergency management officials always stress that you should not go through standing water like this, whether you're driving or walking. It is not safe. The Emergency Management Center in Manatee County was activated tonight. With all of this flooding, emergency management officials were out at the facility taking calls from and giving information to residents. And as you can imagine, phone lines stayed busy all day. We spoke with the Manatee County EOC chief tonight. This was his advice to residents.
Pay attention to the weather. Tune into the news. Ask about what's going on before you start making decisions. If you don't have to go out, stay home. Stay off the flooded roads. As you saw today, we've got a tremendous amount of flooding going on. If more rain comes, that's going to be challenging for us.
The county provided sandbags both today and yesterday, but Hermie says there's no decision yet on whether they will be available again tomorrow. He says that depends on the weather and if it will be safe for officials to be out handing out these sandbags. And you can get them, though, in Sarasota County tomorrow. They will be available at Newtown Estates Park, Twin Lakes Park, and the South County Fleet Facility in Venice from 9 to 6. Roadways in Sarasota also experiencing some flooding today. That includes the often flooded Bee Ridge and US 41, where FDOT is trying to replace the stormwater management system. But Sarasota County says even if the system that we have is perfectly maintained, it cannot keep up with a torrential downpour. 6th Street and 301 was also closed earlier this evening due to flooding. Stormwater Utility Manager Molly Williams says the county checks flooding hotspots on a regular basis.
We go through and we make sure that all of our canals are cleared, roadside swales are as clear as we can get them, specific areas that we know get clogged because there's a lot of sand in the area. We go out and make sure that those are clear and ready to go.
South County has not had too many issues. Some roads in Northport were closed briefly, and then in Venice, the South Jetties were closed today. Florida Power and Light is working to restore power across the state, including on the Sun Coast. In Manatee County, 464 customers were without power at last check, 522 affected in Sarasota County, and nearly 150 in Charlotte County. Straight ahead, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back, of course, with an update on Hermine and the official Suncoast forecast. Plus, moving on to election coverage, a look at the turnout for yesterday's primaries in Florida. And still ahead, you never know what might wash up in floodwaters. A driver on the Suncoast caught something quite crazy on camera.
What does it mean when New South Window says factory direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct prices.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, and when you're ready to sell, you'll get more money back. Come fall in love with the longest-lasting vehicle in its class, the Subaru Outback. Or lease a new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing right now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Attention! This is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? ABC7 has the information you need. Access our special Surviving a Hurricane now. Learn how to prepare a readiness plan and survival kit. Know your evacuation route. Be prepared, Suncoast, when severe weather threatens. Access our special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku.
Bob, it's kind of unbelievable how much rain we've gotten just today.
Yeah, I know. I was driving through it this afternoon coming back from Holmes Beach and Anna Maria, and I was saying to the newsroom here, I said, this is the most rain I've seen ever in 30 years. And sure enough, it has been historic rainfall. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. 10 inches already in some areas.
Wow.
And this is just the first phase. We talked about Hermine actually gaining strength in the Gulf of Mexico, which could add to the energy in the atmosphere. This is Anna Maria webcam. All day long it rained there in Anna Maria. They too had record amounts of rainfall, over 8.5 inches reported there, 8.5 inches from Ed Goff, who's on the north end of Anna Maria. And I was out there and it was flooding badly out there. Historic rainfall for the daily rainfall total for the entire month of August, and records have been kept for over 100 years. This was the most for Sarasota Braden Airport. Right there, you can see it, SRQ Airport reporting over 7 inches of rain in one day in August. That's the most ever recorded in the month of August. Look at that, Bayshore Gardens weather station there reporting over 10 inches of rainfall today. And near Northwest Bradenton, which saw nearly 9 inches of rain, and there's Anna Maria, 8.57 inches. Lesser amounts down south in Northport. That's not to say you're out of the woods, though, because the line of storms could set up over South Sarasota County and Charlotte County as well. Venice reporting just over 3.5 inches of rainfall. That's just today. And that heavy round of rain is now into central Florida. You can see it there. Still, though, raining fairly heavy in places across the Suncoast. We'll take a look at that closer and show you that the rainfall continues to move off to the northeast now. It's not nearly as intense as it once was, but still pretty heavy there into eastern sections of Manatee County. And what we have to worry about now is the possibility of some lone showers and storms generating a little twist as a result of the atmosphere getting a little bit more twist as the storm develops in the Gulf of Mexico. So this will be the next phase, the possibility of isolated tornadoes, and that will be a real possibility, I suspect, throughout the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. And even overnight tonight, we'll keep an eye on it for you. We're going to be here all night long. If anything happens, we'll break into programming and let you know about it, and also update you on our Facebook page and mysuncoast.com. And if you have our app, our news app, we'll actually send you these alerts as well on our news app. You can see the rain still moderate rainfall in Bradenton, stretching all the way on State Road 64, Manatee Avenue, out toward Anna Maria. And some rainfall as well near Northport and down south. It continues to move in from the Gulf of Mexico. But notice things have calmed down out here. That's a good sign temporarily. Tomorrow, though, more energy will spin our way, I suspect, and we could see an additional 4 to possibly even 6 inches of rainfall, up to 13 just offshore of Pinellas County. And you can see that heavy rainfall over portions of western Manatee and northern Sarasota County. Not as much down south, but for the airport there, the record amount over 7 inches recorded right there at the airport. And then the bigger picture showing the heaviest rain by far has been offshore. Well, here's the system. We continue to watch it now. It's gaining strength. The reconnaissance aircraft indicating winds up to 60 miles an hour. It looks rather fragmented, but we're seeing a pulse of energy once again build near the center, and that possibly could spread our way. Now, you'll notice we had a little gap this morning, too. And now here's another little gap. So this may actually cause the sun to shine there and maybe heat things up tomorrow, and then that energy come through and really explode over our area. The atmosphere is really juiced up still at this time. The weather balloon launch indicating that our atmosphere is very tropical all the way through it. So showers and storms that do pop up will produce some locally heavy rainfall, and there'll be a little bit more twist in the atmosphere as this system gets wound up and pushes off to the northeast. Right now it's moving that direction at 10 miles an hour. The pressure has been falling at 998 millibars and top winds at 60. There's a forecast path and track. You can see that's where the center is expected to move on through, and winds at 70 miles an hour right there near Tallahassee. So power outages very likely, trees down, power lines down, and there's the hurricane warning, the area that you see from Panama City stretching all the way down past near the Big Bend area, and then tropical storm watch is in effect for northeast Florida up into Georgia. Tallahassee under that tropical storm warning at this point, and it looks as though we won't see tropical storm force winds here sustained, but we could certainly see some big gusts up to 40 miles an hour with some of the cells that move on through, with the strongest winds being felt right there over the Big Bend and into the panhandle of Florida. Here's a look at those tropical storm force winds moving in late Thursday, and then the possibility of hurricane force winds right there just for a brief period of time tomorrow night and into Friday morning. And eventually it winds up and moves off to the northeast. Now, as far as rainfall goes, we could see an additional, as I said, up to 4 inches. And this may change depending upon how many storms develop here in the eastern Gulf and work in our general direction. If the system gains enough strength, it'll pull a lot of the moisture with it and move it on over. And the waves are getting big, too. We can't forget about that. Rip current advisories are in effect for coastal areas, and as well as a high surf advisory. And that means a lot of coastal erosion expected to be in place here along the Suncoast. Waves already up to 7 feet high. They could be as high as 8 feet. The surf, that is, moving on through the Suncoast. For boaters, obviously not the best boating weather. Seas running 9 to 11 feet. Rough conditions out there. Here's the forecast. Thursday, showers, thunderstorms, some flooding problems. And then still Friday, some lingering storms, a little bit of sunshine. And by the weekend, we get to a 60% chance for mainly afternoon and evening storms, back to summer pattern by the weekend. Haley?
Thank you, Bob. Sarasota County hopes to take on Philippi Creek's pollution issues. Officials say the watershed is contaminated beyond federal standards. Previous water testing found various bacterial contamination, including bacteria that comes from fecal matter. Officials met with residents this evening to figure out where the pollution is coming from.
Sarasota County has done a great job. They've gone through and they've replaced a lot of the septic tanks that were potentially problematic. So we're looking for other sources that may be not as obvious. The county has been charged with reducing the amount of bacterial content in Philippi Creek. So we're hoping that the homeowners can help us find those sources.
Officials say they will take the information that they learn from homeowners, investigate, and then come up with a plan of action to reduce the pollution. In yesterday's Florida primary elections, preliminary data shows for the state that slightly less than 1 out of every 4 Florida voters cast a ballot. The 2.95 million ballots cast is an increase from the primary turnout in 2012 and that was the last presidential election year, as well as 2014. 4 small counties, Liberty, Holmes, Lafayette, and Jefferson, all exceeded 50% turnout. Sports is next. Stay with us.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. You started there right out of high school, learned your trade and did it well. And the asbestos you handled, well, that was just part of the job. If you worked in the trades and were diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available, then call us. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court.
Call 800-236-4994
and see how we can help. Mesothelioma, don't fight it alone.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beauty Rest, Eye Comfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Welcome back, 2 of my favorite guests, Cash 3 and Play 4.
Surprise! We're Pick 3 and Pick 4 now.
Whoa!
But we still play exactly the same. We just got a fresh new look.
Speaking of surprises, I have one for you. Say hello to Pick 2 and Pick 5!
Introducing the complete Pick family of games.
We're family now.
The new Pick 2 and Pick 5 have joined Pick 3 and Pick 4 to give you more choices in your daily gameplay. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Now, sports.
The Rays and Red Sox facing off this afternoon in the rubber match of their 3-game series. In the second, the game tied at 1. Logan Forsythe puts the Rays up with a 2-run homer to left field. That is his 17th of the season. The other Logan Morrison, followed that with a solo shot in right. That's his 11th, and the Rays go up 4-1. But here is where the momentum completely changed. Bottom of the 5th, bases loaded. Hanley Ramirez gets one over the wall in left center, and it is a grand slam. The Red Sox take the lead and the game. They win 8-6. There were not a whole lot of people in the stands, and there was a lot of rain coming down, but the Bucks and Redskins played their fourth and final preseason game in Tampa tonight. The game was originally set for Thursday, but it was moved to tonight to avoid potentially even worse weather conditions tomorrow. Most of the starters sat this one out, and there weren't really many highlights for the Bucks. They lost 20-13. On the plus side, though, rookie kicker Roberto Aguayo made both of his field goal attempts. The Bucks' regular season starts next Sunday. That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers straight ahead.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Civic for $174 and no down payment, just $174. Get great clearance deals now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Come uncork your inner artist at Painting with a Twist. Bring your favorite bottle of wine and appetizers and enjoy an evening out with friends to celebrate any special occasion. It's perfect for a girls' night out, birthday parties, or a fun date night. Painting with a Twist offers 2 or 3 hour classes that are instructed by local artists, and there is no experience required. We now have 2 convenient locations in Sarasota and Bradenton. Visit our website to view our calendar and schedule your next party today.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood, so it's less painful than my previous meter.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, you're covered with US Med. We're welcoming new patients, even if your current provider can't supply you anymore.
I don't even have to test on my fingers anymore. I can test on my hand or forearms, and it's more accurate than my old meter.
So call US Med today, and you'll have a choice of 2 great meters.
One that actually speaks your results, or a meter so small it fits on the bottle of strips.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Shop GoWildHonda.com. Lease a new Accord for $189 and no down payment, just $189 or 0.9% APR. Get great clearance deals now at GoWildHonda.com or visit Wild Honda Sarasota. It's gotta be wild.
Just a note, we did just get off the phone with Sarasota County Schools, and yes, school is in session tomorrow. Social media has had plenty of comments about this topic. One sincere tweet said, "Governor Scott, please make the Sarasota School Board close the schools tomorrow. The roads are flooded. Governor Scott, people will get hurt." Ariana writes, "I think it's fair that if all Sarasota County has to go to school, we all wear our bikinis and swimsuits since we're going to be flooded anyway." And Melody says, "Cry me a river." Well, Sarasota looks like a river right now, but the school board isn't going to do anything about closing the schools down. Well, this is the kind of thing you get in Florida when it floods. Take a look at this video shared by a viewer in Bradenton. That is an alligator in the floodwaters in front of her car swimming across the street. Another reason that you shouldn't be out in floodwaters, because you might see a gator.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time, and not only that, fire ants kind of ball up too in these floodwaters.
Fish, not that they're dangerous,
roll down the street and really can be a problem. Those fire ants hurt.
Yes, they do if you get a lot of bites at one time, that's right. But also be careful out there. It's not just the gators and the ants, it's the driving conditions.
And we talked about earlier too, some of the sewers backing up into that floodwater. So you don't want to play in that. You don't want to play in that at all. A lot of bacteria. Absolutely. Yeah. And you don't want to play too much out in the Gulf of Mexico either, because there are going to be rip currents taking place in the area beaches. And this system getting better organized, stronger winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds create stronger waves and high surf. A high surf advisory is in effect for the Suncoast. And, speaking of rain, we had a historic amount today. We could still see a lot tomorrow. The atmosphere is still juiced up.
Okay, so please be careful out there and stay with us online and on air for the latest. See you tomorrow.